This is from M. Ballard Co., who says, "What's the hardest first step? My friend is starting his first micro SaaS and said nothing is harder than getting that first customer. What were your hardest first steps when building your business?" Getting as an attorney, so I'll do both sides. I'll do the when I was the software developer and the attorney. The attorney side, getting a client was not difficult. It's never difficult. Getting a paying and good client is a different story. Getting a client is not difficult as an attorney. Everyone has issues, and especially when you're first starting out, you want to help everybody, and then you quickly realize you can't. Yeah. Unfortunately, you just don't have time or the financial resources to do it. I would say for the attorney side of things, the most difficult thing was understanding the industry, meaning, especially from the court system point of view, understanding procedures in court, because even though they teach you civil procedure in court, they don't teach you civil procedure. Even though they teach you civil procedure in law school, they don't really teach you civil procedure, not the stuff you really need to know.
Right.
That was probably the hardest thing for me. From the software side of things, yeah, getting clients was tough, but building something to show those clients, here's why you want to work with me, that was more difficult, I think, because there's a million different more than that, types of software you can build. And when you want to show a client what you can do, they generally want to see something that's relevant to what they want. And you can't go out and build everything. So sometimes it's hard to have enough stuff in your library or your portfolio, so to speak, that it speaks to that new client that may want to work with you. How about you?
So for the software side, I think the best way to get new customers is by start getting a bunch of beta testers that are in the industry and let them help sell it. Right. That's one of the ways I like personally. But yeah, getting your first paying customer is hard. Getting your first free customer is easy.
Yeah.
For us on the marketing side, when I first started, marketing seems hard to sell the idea of someone to, because they don't understand how it works or why they should do it. Right. Yeah. And I always ask them okay, so when you started your business, how did you get started? And they're like, well, I went out and I talked to people and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, did you wrap your truck? Yeah, of course I did. Did you start getting more jobs from wrapping your truck? Yeah. Okay. And then did you start putting up lawn signs when you were working on someone's property? Yeah, of course I did. I'm like, that's all marketing. All of it. You're just doing it. We're just talking about doing it on a bigger scale, reaching more people. Right. But getting that first marketing customer that I got, I actually ended up getting it through networking, and it was a landscaper. And for him, it was pretty easy. He was looking to go from 1 crew to 2 crews, and he had already done some marketing and wasn't happy with the company he was using.
Yeah.
So he asked me if he could test us out for 6 months. And I was like, of course you can. And that was 12 years ago. So he's still testing us.
He fired you on the spot, huh?
He's still testing us 12 years later.
Still testing you out? I say you passed the test.
But so we got our first customer through literally relationships, through me getting to know him personally, and him something going wrong with his current marketing company where he was like, okay, I think I'm ready to switch. So
what else are hard steps? Okay, so you get the first customer. Okay, fine. And they pay you, and you whatever service or product you're building is going well. What's another, what another first hard step is hiring an employee. Hiring your first employee is another very difficult step, especially if you don't have experience doing it. Because number one of the things you don't realize is there's so many rules and laws around employment that'll make your head spin. But number two, just finding that right person. Sometimes you're so desperate for an employee that you'll just hire anybody off the street. And when you do that, such a detriment. It could be such a detriment to your company. It can hurt. It can have long-lasting effects. I mean, you hire someone off the street, even if the person's not purposely trying to do something bad, but they're just incompetent. Imagine they send the wrong thing to the client, or they don't send anything to the client. The client was expecting it. Now the client doesn't want to work with you anymore. That's a lifetime ban on with that client usually, right?
Oh yeah.
That's a problem. So that's another very difficult thing to do, is to hire your first employee.
Yeah. And it's not only hard from the hiring them and figuring out how to hire them.
Yeah.
It's difficult because you feel like you're taking a pay cut.
Yes, that's right. I remember that feeling. Like, this is my money. I'm giving to somebody else.
Yes.
I don't like that.
I know.
Now it's different. But
Correct. But yeah, that first hire is like, wait, I have to give them my money?
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking a pay cut so that I can pay someone else?
Yeah.
And initially it's a direct hit unless you're like in a full ramping process and you're like, I need someone because I have way more clients than I can handle.
Right.
And I would lose clients if I didn't. But most don't hire at that stage. They hire when they're getting like busy. And yeah, I remember that feeling where I was like, I have to give this up. Like, really?
Yeah, you're right. I remember that. It's like, oh man, it's my money.
It's a weird feeling.
That's my bills. That's my food on the table for my kids.
What happens if I don't get a new client next month?
Right.
Like,
that's
now
terrifying.
I'm making less money.
Yeah.
So yeah, but people often get stuck on that. Like I believe that business owners get to a certain point and then they get into this cycle where they're comfortable, they're making enough money, there's enough renewal. And now that initial risk we took when we hired our first employee, all of a sudden doesn't seem worth it.
No.
Right? Because you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I don't need the risk.
Yeah.
And they stop growing. Right. And that can go on for years, sometimes for the lifetime of the business. But I mean, it's probably one of the many reasons only like 5% of businesses ever cross $1 million or 10%. Like, it's a really low number. But I think that has a lot to do with it. We just get into this mindset of like, no, I'm good. I'm not willing to give up. Like, I'm not willing to take a pay cut.
I don't even look at that money as my money anymore.
I don't either.
In fact, when I'm trying to make sure, I've paid, because when I'm running payroll, making sure that there's enough money in the payroll account, I look at that as just, that's just paying another bill. So again, it's not my money anymore. I don't even look at it like that.
I know.
It's weird. It's weird how it shifted, that dynamic shifted over the years. But you're right. When you first start out, that's my money I'm giving somebody else, man. I'm not happy about this.
I know.
But you're never going to grow without employees. You're just not. You got to have employees, and hiring those employees can be tough. I mean, look, you and I talk about it quite often. There's so much trouble finding employees. I can't find an administrative assistant. It's been 7 months.
Oh, I may have found someone for you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I hope so, because I can't find anybody.
No. Oh, hold on. Her name is, hold on. She texted me. She showed initiative.
She showed initiative. Yeah, I'll tell you about initiative in a second. Go ahead.
No, but she, like, legit. She is currently the administrative assistant for a school district, handles all the kids that don't show up, kids that are late, sends out all the follow-ups.
Yeah.
Like, has to stay organized, data entry, understands numbers, calendars.
For a new job?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to call me.
I'm gonna do that. I just had to make sure that I still had her number.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. Here's how. All right. So I'm starting a new business line. You know about it. I'm not going to go into it here, but I'm starting a new business soon, and I'm already looking for the person who's going to run it for me in a couple of years, right?
Yep.
Once I grow it and grow it up and such. And I had an idea. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull the I'm going to find someone who I can get him in a grassroots level, entry level, right? Have them work with me every day. Have them learn the legal side. Have them learn the software side. Have them learn everything about it. Okay. And build them up over the next 2.5 years to the point where once the business is moving forward and I feel comfortable, they can start running a bit with the business. Okay. So I've had that job posting out, and it's very clear what's going on. And I've had quite a few interviews, and only a couple of people that really seemed like everyone else is like, oh, I need a job. I need a job. It's like, this isn't for you. Right. But I had this one guy and I'm like, are you sure? So I want this. This is I want to do this. I want to grow and I want to run that and blah, blah, blah. He's like, and then I gave him a very, very simple assignment because I asked him a question. I was like, well, tell me about leadership. What does leadership mean to you? And he really didn't have any good answers. Right. And I said, okay, I want you to do me a favor. And it was on a Thursday. I said, go home, go watch 8, 10, 12 hours. I don't care of Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek and a couple of these other guys, and then come back to me next week and let's have another talk about leadership. Scheduled the interview, confirmed it, never showed.
Yeah.
That's how badly he wanted it.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? So I have this theory that the same people you look for to buy a franchise are the people we're looking for that we want to run our businesses. Yes. But on one side, if we don't give them skin in the game in our business, they're not going to stick around, which is why for franchising for them is also an option because now they have skin in the game. Yeah. But finding the person that you're even willing to offer equity to, because you're looking for proof that they really want it. And sometimes I think it's that catch-22 that they're looking for something in order to be more driven to do it, right? But you're right. Like I've talked to people too that I'm like, hey, just go look at these couple of things and then call me next week and we'll settle things. And not a peep.
Not a word.
Not a word.
Not a, hey, I can't make it. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, I took another job. Yep. Okay, great. That's fine.
All excited talking to you, and then they
Yep, and that has been almost every interview, if not every interview over the last 6 to 9 months for various positions here.
It's crazy.
That's the world today, man.
Do you know what? Then again, I've said this before. Like we put out ads for jobs, we get 30 applications, we send 10 follow-up emails, we may schedule 6 interviews, and 3 people show up.
Yeah.
And out of the 3 people, one is
even worth talking to.
Correct, right? And then now it's the question, like, we literally have a kitty. Are they going to show up for the second interview? Right? Like it's a betting pool.
I know. And so the question about hardest first steps, again, that's another hard step is getting employees, man. It is not easy. It is not as easy as it used to be where you put a job posting up and you'll get a bunch of people that are qualified. It really is. You know, my friend said to me the other day, I was looking at my buddy Joe and I was telling him the story. He goes, oh, Mike, you're doing it the wrong way. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, you're looking for people to come to you. You got to go to them. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, go call your competitors. When someone answers the phone, say, you looking for a job? He said, I do it all the time. It works great. He says, you have no idea how many people are so miserable at their job.
Oh, yeah.
So you start calling around law firms when the girl answers the phone or the guy answers the phone, talk to him for a minute. You looking for a job? I was like, that's actually brilliant. I like that a lot.
That's like me recruiting the telemarketer. Yeah.
That's true. But you weren't looking to that time. But you weren't out there trying to do it.
No, but I had been thinking about it, right? So when the guy called, I'm like, I really like this guy. Yeah. Like I would. So like, if you don't ask, right? So, the answer is always no.
The answer is always no unless you ask. That is true. All right. So anyway, who we have this M. Ballard Co. Yeah, man. There's a few things that are hard steps. I wouldn't even look for the first hardest step. There's a bunch of hardest steps out there, and as you grow, you'll run into more and more of them, right? But you'll get over it. You'll figure it out, and But it's good to ask those questions of people because it'll help prepare you for when you do eventually hit those walls. What do you do about it? If you like what you saw in the clips, don't forget to subscribe as well. Let us know what you think by leaving some information in the comments.